Good evening, this is News Mongolia. I'm Sotlong in the MNB World studio. For our top stories, COVID-19, 1,050 new cases confirmed on Thursday. Total number is 34,623. Drone tested for transporting blood and blood products. Asian Development Bank reports Mongolia's economic growth is expected to recover gradually in 2021 to 4.8%. For other news, stay tuned. On Thursday, the Ministry of Health reported 1,050 new coronavirus cases. 5 more people have died and death toll has reached 102. Also, data shows that 54% of all confirmed cases have recovered. In the past 24 hours, around 11,000 people were tested for COVID-19 and 1,015 new cases were confirmed. The total number of COVID-19 cases in Mongolia is now 34,623. As of today, 5 more deaths were recorded, and the death toll has surpassed 100. The current recovery rate for Mongolia is 54%. Half of the all patients are showing mild symptoms, but the numbers of patients with severe conditions have dramatically increased to 109. Health experts advise the public to take care of both their emotional and physical health. COVID-19 is a respiratory syndrome, but when it's accompanied with other diseases, the patient's health condition has a high risk of rapid deterioration. Therefore, preventive measures and not just hygienic rules are required to nourish the body's overall health. According to Johns Hopkins University, the total number of global coronavirus cases is now at 149 million. The number of confirmed deaths is over 3 million. The country with the highest number of COVID-19 cases is the US with 32 million, followed by India with 18 million. Mongolia is having the highest rate of COVID-19 infection in Asia by its confirmed cases per million people. Blood supplies are running very low during the state of the emergency. Health workers are calling on blood donors to save lives. They note that one can give blood 14 days after vaccination. In order to collect sufficient blood supply, the National Center for Blood is calling available donors and even visiting some donors at home. The blood center reports the number of blood donors has gone down threefold since the pandemic. Currently, 4 types of vaccines are available to the public. Some blood donors are wondering whether they can give blood after the inoculation. Health experts say after one gets vaccinated and experiences no side effects after 14 days, blood can be donated to the blood center. Any healthy individual aged between 17 and 60 weighing more than 45 kilograms can be a blood donor. The blood center is encouraging the public to donate blood urgently and making requests to the government to allow donors to freely visit the center during the lockdown. The National Center for Blood Transfusion Research has tested a drone to transport blood products. If the drone is officially approved, they can deliver blood in 5 minutes to the National Center for Trauma and Orthopedics, where it's required for urgent blood-related needs. The drone called Red Drone has been designed by Mongolian engineers. It is operated with a 4G system and is able to carry 3 to 5 kilograms of blood. The height it can reach is 500 meters and the speed is 56 kilometers per hour. The main body of the drone was designed in Mongolia. The motor and other electronic parts were purchased and assembled here. The National Center for Trauma and Orthopedics is one of the centers that always has a need for an immediate blood supply. From the blood center, it can deliver blood just in 3 to 5 minutes.
The drone will save time and help to save people's lives, which is the main point. The motor part is water resistant, so it can also fly during rainfall. In cold weather, an additional battery heater can be installed, so it can easily be adjusted for Mongolian weather conditions.
Normally, it requires a medical mobile team to deliver the blood. By using drone transport, it can also reduce the workload of healthcare workers. The blood center reported that testing of the drone went successful. The official said at times of the pandemic, drone technology will help them to avoid human-to-human contact. The engineers of the drone said it can also be used for delivering laboratory samples and a variety of items beyond the health sector. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. On April 27th, the European Union and World Health Organization donated essential equipment and tools to the Ministry of Health to support Mongolia's COVID-19 response. The event was held as part of the Mongolia COVID-19 Crisis Response Project. The handover ceremony took place at the Ministry of Health and was attended by Health Minister Mr. Ingpolt, the head of the European Union delegation to Mongolia, Mr. Marco Ferrer, and the WHO representative to Mongolia, Mr. Sergei Diorditsa. This supply will help Mongolia to reduce the current impacts of the COVID-19 crisis and enhance the national health system in the medium and long term. It is part of the project Mongolia COVID-19 Crisis Response, funded by the European Union and WHO. The European Union is providing support of 1 million euros, and WHO is providing a further 62,000 euros along with technical guidance to Mongolia's health sector. The project is being implemented by World Health Organization Mongolia in collaboration with the Ministry of Health over a 3-year period, starting from October 2020. The project focuses on 3 specific areas, which are early detection control of COVID-19, improving the laboratory capacity, and adequate healthcare services during widespread community transmission and lockdown. Mongolia has been experiencing a sudden surge in COVID-19 cases since March 2021. In response to community transmission, the Ministry of Health has revised the national response strategy. 9 district health centers will conduct response measures, including early detection, contact tracing, isolation, quarantine, testing, monitoring of vulnerable high-risk populations, and vaccination. In line with the project's first objective, the necessary medical equipment and tools were delivered to the Ministry of Health. On Wednesday, the Asian Development Bank introduced its annual economic report online. According to their publication, Asian Development Outlook 2021, Mongolia's economic growth is expected to recover gradually in 2021 to 4.8%. A new report by the Asian Development Bank says Mongolia's economic growth is expected to recover gradually in 2021 through its trade and higher export volume, and it will accelerate in 2022 when the pandemic eases off and the global economy recovers. As reported by the recent Asian Development Outlook 2021, Mongolia's economic growth will recover to 4.8% in 2021 compared to the 5.3% contraction seen in 2020. In 2022, ADB forecasts 5.7% growth, boosted by domestic demand, investment, increased private credit, and a full recovery across economic sectors. During the online presentation, ADB Country Director for Mongolia, Mr. PAVIT RAMACHANDRAN, briefly introduced the current economic situation in Asia.
The economic recovery paths in developing Asia are diverging. But beneath it all, I think there is a clear demonstration of the underlying resilience of the region. Some economies, some countries are returning to normal and are seeing growth boosted primarily by exports and a quick turnaround of the manufacturing sector, while others are still contending with domestic outbreak, containments, local restrictions and lockdowns. COVID-19 cases in the region are picking up again since March this year, and we have seen the same trend here in Mongolia. After a 0.2% regional contraction in 2020, progress on vaccination rollouts and recovering global demand will foster a 7.3% economic recovery in developing Asia for 2021. This will be led primarily by the People's Republic of China and to a lesser extent by India. Developing Asia's growth is expected to moderate to 5.3% in 2022.
The ADB report also notes that Mongolia's growth prospects in 2021 to 2022 will largely depend on the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, the economic recovery in neighboring China, the rebounding of commodity exports, the overall investment climate, and private sector credit growth. Until the vaccination target of 60% of the population is achieved, concerns over public health will continue to dampen domestic demand and business confidence, which result in an uneven recovery outside of the mining sector. However, business sentiment and economic prospects will be better in 2022 as COVID-19 concerns ease. Average inflation will accelerate to 6.9% in 2021 and 8.5% in 2022, which is rising above the 6% medium-term inflation target as the economy and demand recover, fuel prices increase, and exchange rate effects pass through to prices for imported goods. Here is the weather forecast for the world's major cities. This is it for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.